Hey everybody, welcome to Slightly Mediocre. Waiting for Wade here. I don't know where he's at. Oh, there he is. Oh my God.
So,
Oh!
I'm Princess Leia, and we're talking about the original trilogy. If you couldn't tell, it's kind of cold in here. So,
Yeah,
at least I'm covered.
Yeah, he's not cutting any glass.
Yeah, no, I'm like full on, Jabba slave Leia right now. You know, even not wearing underwear like George Lucas wanted Carrie Fisher to do.
Yeah, because there's no underwear in space, you know?
Yeah, no underwear in space. So,
anyway. Let me take this off so we can hear me better. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about
the original trilogy. Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Of course, A New Hope wasn't originally called Episode 4. It was for A New Hope. It was originally when it came out, it was just called Star Wars.
Yep.
And then it became a trilogy, and they made a sequel and everything like that. So sorry, and like I said, I'm kind of cold, and I don't want all my bits being shown to Creed over here.
Yeah, we're good friends, but we're not. We're not that close. No, so
this is the closest we've gotten.
Well, I don't know. A few times in college.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about those times. But hey, so like what Wade said, we're talking about the original trilogy, the OG, the original Star Wars. So we're just gonna be talking about the movies themselves, a little bit of backstory on each one, and maybe a little bit about some of the lore that's around them too. So to start us off, A New Hope, great film, kind of a breakthrough film. Honestly, when it first came out, everyone was just like shocked about how new age it was, like the technology that was involved, the way that George Lucas, his different style of cinematography, of course you got the great musical scores by John Williams, which are always great. Having some trouble there, a little bit of wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, I'm full on Janet Jackson Super Bowl.
Yeah, but hey, no.
Reference might be a little old, actually.
They're great films, especially with like A New Hope just coming out. And honestly, I don't think Lucas or anyone knew at the time just how big it would take off. Just what he to grasp what he started, that whole universe, that entire everything that just came out of it. From all the different kinds of merch, the books, the clothes, the pencils.
The fact that he eventually sold the entire franchise for $6 billion
to Disney.
Billion with a B.
Yeah. So people like us can wear stuff like that. So
yeah, I might have paid too much for this, honestly.
Yeah. But hey, we're slightly mediocre. That's what we do.
Yeah, we got to give something the viewers to look at.
Yeah, get those views up, man. Big ball hours. But so Wade, you have any things you want to comment on? Any possible detractors for the first episode? A New Hope. For me, it really, like I said, it was like kind of breakthrough. So they didn't really know what they were getting into. For me, like given the circumstances and the budget at the time, the film was really well done.
Yeah, and overall, the use of models was pretty good. For it being Lucas's one of his first major motion pictures. Of course, he did American Graffiti, but that one I don't even put in the same boat because
that's
people love American Graffiti.
But not on the level of Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, it has some great scenes. Like for us car people out there, I'm a big car guy. Of course, can't tell obviously. But as a car guy, the American Graffiti has a special place near and dear. But Star Wars is where it's at. Star Wars is why Lucas is so successful. He started Skywalker Ranch, Skywalker Sound Studio.
ILM was really just blew up.
Yeah, he has THX. That was all started all because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
No one really expected it to take off as much as it did. They didn't they weren't expecting to sell toys, and now some of those toys are some of the most desirable collectibles in the world. And you have toys that are going for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. That's thousands of dollars for a little like Mego. Actually, it would be a Kenner toy because they didn't make Megos.
Yeah.
They had the Mego Star Trek, not that. But like the little Kenner toys, that's insane. And it's amazing to me that people are willing to spend as much as they do for Star Wars stuff. Like
yeah.
I've personally spent a lot of money on Star Wars stuff, mainly Star Wars Legos. Like I have over $1,000 in Star Wars Legos. I got some Star Wars collectibles, like the old action figures and stuff like that. I have a Boba Fett. Obviously, I spent money on this, But other than that, I mean, A New Hope. Some of the detractors from it, I would say, are really just Luke.
Yeah.
Luke is super whiny. I love Obi-Wan.
Sir Alec Guinness.
Yeah, Alec Guinness is amazing, or Sir Alec Guinness. He was knighted. But and Harrison Ford is Han Solo.
Yeah.
Excellent. The
Carrie
band.
Fisher.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher. But that's later in the trilogy. But Carrie Fisher was amazing. And then you have the whole Grand Moff Tarkin, Darth Vader. Just the overall dynamic of the movie. It made for an excellent movie. And of course, that's where America and the world really fell in love with the two astro droids that we love so very much and are very fond of, C-3PO and R2-D2. And it's just amazing how far it took off. But yeah, the main detractor for me would just
I think it's Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's a great actor.
Mark Hamill is a great actor,
Yeah.
and nothing against Mark Hamill. Like I would personally sit down and have a nice talk with Mark Hamill. Like we probably go sit at a bar, have a couple drinks, do our thing. But like I wouldn't wear this outfit because he might confuse me for Carrie Fisher because obviously with this figure.
Oh gosh.
But the thing is Mark Hamill's excellent. I think George Lucas just didn't really fully grasp, how whiny Luke needed to be. Because he didn't need to be whiny. He just lost his only relatives. Or only known relatives, I should say.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't figure out that, Vader's his father until
later on.
Cloud City.
But yeah, so moving on to the next film, Empire Strikes Back. That's probably one of my, if not my favorite Star Wars film of all time. Just the way it was filmed, the battle scenes were amazing. The battle on Hoth was great. All the different characters that were introduced. You get to see Boba Fett, for the first time, which is cool because I'm a big Boba Fett fan, and a bunch of other cool stuff. I really liked that film. That was just a great film. For me, there was really no detractors. There's some slow points, but it's just, I guess, or we wouldn't call them slow points. It was just the dialogue between Han and Leia, which was great. Because just the dynamics between
You scruffy nerve herder.
Yeah, they weren't battle scenes, but they were just as interesting because all the dynamics between Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford and their respective characters were really, really good. It just shows how the good chemistry was.
And it really set it up for the end of the trilogy.
Oh yeah,
for sure, because Luke lost his hand. Vader finally admitted that Luke was his son. The Yoda made an appearance on Dagobah. Luke basically was like, "Oh no, screw you, Yoda. I know better." And then flew his X-wing that Yoda pulled out of the Dagobah swamp for him. And then he's like, screw you. I don't need to learn anymore. And then he flies it out to Cloud City where
and he loses a hand.
Yeah, just listen to the dude. He's been around for 800 years. He knows what he's doing. And you're gonna go out there and lose your hand.
There is another.
Kids these days.
There is another.
Yeah, the other.
But fun fact about that film, the Empire Strikes Back. Reason why they had that scene where Luke gets knocked down by the Wampa. It's because Mark Hamill actually got into an accident prior to the filming of the film, or that scene at least, where he was, I think, riding his bike or something, and he did get some scarring on his face. So they wanted to show why he looks a bit more grizzled, a lot more scarred up from the previous film. Because in the previous film, he was this boyish figure, nice, and he's young, he's still inexperienced. And in episode 7, he's just no, she's oh geez. Ooh, 5, yeah, 5.
Come on, man.
I know.
Come
I
on.
said 5. He's just he looks older, more experienced, more grizzled. And I guess not experienced enough to like rush off, and ignore Yoda.
But he's still whiny.
Yeah.
He still thinks he knows everything.
So
and then Obi-Wan makes his, little Force Ghost appearance, and like it's great, but
you will go to the Dagobah.
He still doesn't do anything about it. It's just really, really unfortunate.
So moving on to the final film, Episode 6, great film too, and this is one film where I will have some detractors, and that will center around the Ewoks. Not a big Ewok fan.
So my main detractors of the trilogies the original trilogy is the fact that nowadays you can't buy the original theatrical release. You have to get the remastered edition
with a CGI
or better, because Lucas added a little bit in there. There's a little bit of CGI. Like, I personally don't care about seeing a stormtrooper on a dewback.
Or like the Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
I'm like, shout out to the fat guy that was originally the Jabba the Hutt. Because that dude was OG. If y'all remember that, y'all know what's up. The story with that originally, like in episode 4, instead of having Jabba as the freaking space slug, he's played by this fat dude in like a loincloth. And the dude did his best. And dude's
Well, originally it was supposed to be one of like Jabba's little minions that was in the theatrical. Yeah, the fat dude in the loincloth. Because you see that fat dude in the loincloth in episode 6, Return of the Jedi, in Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah, he's the dude
with
the Rancor.
Yeah. So you do see that. Of course, every nerd has seen every inch of the Jabba's palace scenes, because
Yep.
What like when I watched the movie, I was pretty young. I wasn't doing my hormone thing, but after the hormone thing, like pretty much every day I was watching just Return of the Jedi for the Carrie Fisher.
Shout out to Carrie Fisher, man. She rest in peace.
For real.
But one thing, like I said, for me it was just the Ewoks. Like, if you look at the lore, it was they're saying like, oh, the whole planet battle was supposed to be not on Endor but on Kashyyyk. Instead of Ewoks, you wanted Wookiees. But apparently Lucas wanted to make it, I guess, more family friendly. And he wanted to appeal to little kids, so hence he brought in the Ewoks.
Plus, I think Lucas is like by far one of the largest employers of little people.
Yeah, no, nothing against little people, but he wanted to appeal to
I love them. I have friends that are little people. Yeah. They're some of the funniest people I know. Something crazy always goes down. It makes for a great story. Actually, one of my favorite comedians is Brad Williams, but this is kind of going off topic. But Brad Williams, hilarious. It's because he's right. Like, every time a little person and like a normal sized person are in the same room and they're friends and they're just hanging out, something crazy always goes down. But you have like, let's break it down here. Throughout the entire original trilogy, right? You have a little person inside of R2-D2. Mm-hmm. You have a little person inside of pretty much every Ewok, right?
But they're little kids, though.
You have some of them that are little kids, and then you have some of them that are little people, right? And then, like, throughout the universe, you have some here and there, and it's really interesting to see that where a puppet could have been used, Lucas is just like, nah, screw it, let's just put a little person there.
Which is good. Like, he gave him a job.
Yeah, which is definitely good. Apparently it was an absolutely horrendous job, because, I can't imagine those costumes were
not comfortable at
all. Like, Peter Mayhew has admitted that, the Chewbacca costume is awful. At least the original one. Now, it's kind of,
I'm sure it's
gotten a lot easier with the increase of technology. But my biggest attraction with the Ewoks is the fact that at the end of the movie, after they blow up the Death Star, basically this scene that's right here, you have the Death Star, you have the Millennium Falcon coming out of it, and then it blows up, right? The fact that, the Ewoks take those Stormtrooper helmets and are doing their little drumming
on the helmets,
that was just an unneeded scene. And that's in the remastered edition. That's not in the original theatrical, but it's stupid to me, and it's unneeded.
Oh, speaking of remastered edition, what's your take on them putting in Hayden Christensen?
Oh, in the Force Ghost crap. I think so.
I'm like, they're gonna do that. I'm like, I don't know. It was just weird. Like, it should have been an older Obi-Wan. Like, I don't know, older Anakin. Like, older Obi-Wan, they had older Yoda, and they had an older Anakin.
Well, no, because it's supposed to signify when
he was a good guy
before Anakin went over to the dark side.
Yeah.
You know, obvious. Plus, you know, you don't want to be looking at Darth Vader with his mask all off and stuff like that as a Force ghost forever. You don't want to see that.
Well, do you really want Hayden Christensen whining?
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't want Hayden Christensen whining. Like, it's a toss-up. You know, it's 50. Yeah. It's like 6 of one, half dozen of another. But you know, those are my biggest things with the original trilogy. Like overall, still by far,
the best. Yeah,
the best out of the Star Wars.
And that's just coming from like 2 old school hardcore Star Wars fans. Like, you know, some of the newer kids, you know, they're all like, oh, 7 and 8 were. I'm like, no, they're just neither of those 2 films can ever hold a candle. I'm like, if any of the newest films, in my opinion, can hold a candle to like the original ones, or even I guess to the prequels, would be, I guess, Rogue One and Solo, a Star Wars story. Those are the 2 best of the 4 newest films that came out.
And the thing is after seeing the original trilogy, right, I have the Millennium Falcon and the Death Star from Episode 6. I have the Empire and Rebel symbol. I have a Boba Fett on my side, and then I got a Han Solo on my leg, just looking at me. It's kind of awkward sometimes when I'm using the restroom, but, you know, it just sits there and looks at me. And, you know, like, the original trilogy is obviously, you know, my favorite. And Han Solo is by far the best character. And it was really heartbreaking to see him die. But, you know...
Hey, Harrison Ford got his wish.
Yeah. He doesn't need to play character anymore. But, you know, it's amazing that, you know, something that wasn't really meant to be a big hit became huge.
One of the biggest, if not the biggest hit of all time. Like, to this day, Star Wars is still ranked as one of the top earningest films.
It's an international phenomenon.
Yeah.
And now, even with the release of the new movies and stuff, it's only more so been a phenomenon because, you know, you're getting the younger crowd into it as well.
And like we dog on the newer films a lot, but in my opinion, like what Wade said is a good thing because now these newer generations are being introduced to Star Wars, even though it's these newer films. But hopefully they can, you know, pop in the older films, you know, into the...
And that's my thing. It's like, you know, I want these kids to see the new films to get intrigued. I want them to watch the old films to understand the heritage and the history behind the movies that they're currently watching. I want them to enjoy the old ones. I don't want them to like sit there and be like, this is boring, you know, or be on their phones the entire time or something. I just want them to understand like where Star Wars started and then watch, you know, 1, 2, and 3 and see how it progresses. And then, you know, maybe watch 4, 5, and 6 again. And then watch the newest ones that have come out. Because, you know, that's really the only true, like, it's the true way to watch it. And, you know, and it really shows you not only how Lucas developed and how the storyline develops and, you know, how Lucas developed as a storyteller, but it also shows you how, you know, technology's changed and how, you know, the universes interact with one another. And, you know, yes, for the first 6 movies, you might only be limited to like 4 planets, but, you know, Naboo, Coruscant, Tatooine, Hoth, and, you know, you got Endor and Dagobah, but, you know, those are kind of like mediocre.
Geonosis.
Yeah, you got Geonosis, you know, stuff like that. But, like, those are the main ones. You got Tatooine, you got Coruscant, you got Naboo. Like, those are the big 3, right? Yeah. And, you know, you get to see all of that. You get to see how kind of like the whole political climate changes within the Star Wars universe.
And, from Republic to the Empire.
Yeah, and I feel like that's very important for any Star Wars fan to see.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So let us know what y'all think. That's just our take, our opinion on it. For both of us, we think that these, you know, I think these films are like, they're one of those films that are classics and they will stand the test of time, that they will always be one of the best films ever made. You know, people will dog on like, oh, they look old, but that's, at their time, they were the best. And in my opinion, they still are the best. They, the effects that were used they still hold up. They're better than some of the films that come out today. A lot better than some of the films that come out today.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the effects are great. The acting was stellar. You know, the soundtrack was great, you know. And the directing was top notch. So these are great films.
And they hold their own. They really do. Like, I would put those films up against any of the new films.
Any film.
And, you know, I would probably choose the original trilogy over pretty much any new film that comes
every
out.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let us know what you all think in the comments below. If y'all have seen the films, what y'all think. Let us know if you know if you think that Han shot first, because we both know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But also let us know what you all think, and let us know what other films we should review, talk about, or anything like that. And once again, this is Slightly Mediocre.
Where I wear a Princess Leia outfit.
See you next time.
Test.
Yo, yo, yo.
Testies.
Skeet 'em up.
Testies.